Hello. I'm sure you're surprised to see me just as much as I'm surprised to be here. And I want you to know that if you're watching this, I made this video for you because I have something to ask of you. And before I ask you that question, I want to tell you how I got to this conclusion. I'm on a journey of content creation. Now, it's my first video, and the volume's not great. I'm not where I typically would be, and I'm using what I have, but it's a start. And that's currently where I am on this journey, is I am starting. And so I thank you for being here, and for those of you who know me, I'm sure it's a bit of a shell shock. And for those of you who don't, I wrote off social media. I don't enjoy social media. I don't like it for many reasons. It's dishonest. There's a lack of integrity. A lot of it can be fake nowadays, especially with AI and not even knowing what's real and what's not. And then you see these people who have thousands of followers, yet no one checks in. These followers are superficial. These lives are made to seem perfect. And so I'm happy to share this imperfect video with you. And I thank you for being here. Now, I don't know what this content will look like. I don't know where I will go or where this road will take me. And before I get too far ahead of myself, let me take a step back and tell you exactly how I got to this point. About 10 years ago, I probably posted my first content. And I was in middle school playing this game called Pixel Gun and just trying to be cool, trying to trick shot, trying to help people, trying to show tips and tricks as my young middle schooler self thought it was really cool. Fast forward a few years to about 7 to 8 years ago is when I started making stop motion animation with my Legos. And again, I spent hours on these creations. I spent hours meticulously moving pieces back and forth, trying to create a story and sharing it on Facebook, on YouTube. And then fast forward a few more years to about 5 or 6 years ago, when I was in high school. And I started using this streaming platform called Omelette Arcade. And I just started recording games on my phone, you name it, Minecraft, Clash of Clans, PUBG, all these sorts of different games. And again, fast forward a few more years to about 3 years ago, now when I'm in college, and I said to myself, I want to start streaming on Twitch. I want to start really making content, really making content. And so I did. I started making Minecraft videos and short clips of these cool things that I would do on Warzone or Call of Duty or Rocket League. And I started streaming. And then life got busy. As life got busy, I did a few things. I graduated from the University of New Hampshire. I met and married my best friend. We adopted 2 cats together. And currently, I am serving my country, the United States, halfway around the world. And a lot has changed. A lot has changed from then until now. And it was actually in Puerto Rico, January of 2025, that I was on the beach with my wife, and it hit me again. I had the desire to create. I had that compulsion to post content. And I was there for it. I was ready. And a week later, it went away. And yet, God had plans for me. God had plans for my heart. And in fact, continue to fast forward a few months. I'm deployed with the military. And I am both literally and figuratively in this desert with God. Now, what I've learned about the desert is it's hot. It's very hot. And what I've learned about the spiritual desert is God applies this heat on you. This heat that reveals where you run to, where you turn to. And you start asking these questions of who am I? Who did God make me to be? Who am I supposed to be? And that's exactly the place where I was. And during that time, I hit a pretty harsh season of depression, not even realizing at first until it grew in my heart. And so I started seeing a chaplain, I started seeing a therapist. And I started asking these questions of why? What good does God have for me in the desert? And in the desert was exactly where He wanted me. In the desert is where I began to meet with Jesus in ways that were so tangible, real, and authentic to me. I felt as if I was there touching Jesus. I felt as if His presence was simply just with me, and He is. And it is in the desert that my heart began to change. It is in the desert where God started to transform me, transform my attitude and my heart. He transformed me that my worth is not in whoever views this video. That my worth is not in however many likes or views that I may get on this journey, but that my foundation is in something far greater. I started finding healing in Jesus in tangible ways. These lies, these doubts that I was facing, this isolation that I was experiencing, it made me become honest. And I think this world could use a little bit more honesty, because I started seeing how many problems I had, and I have a lot. Everything from self-doubt to lies to wrestling with why am I even here, to questions that I didn't know the answer to. And when my inner critic would speak back in condemnation and shoot me down, Jesus was there to pick me up. So why am I doing this? Well, I feel that God has put on my heart to share with you all the things that He's putting on my heart. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know where it'll take me. But I want to start on this journey with you. I want you to join me. And that is the question is, will you join me? Will you join me in this process of being transformed? Because in a place, in a world where people are more online than they are on the streets, where people are more plugged in than they are in community, where people are more attached to their phones than they are to the world around them. That is not something to just be written off and cast aside. Because that's what I did. But that's not the Jesus that I know. The Jesus that I know came for the sick, the hungry, the poor, the isolated, the hurting. Jesus went to those people, and so here I am, trying to answer that call and go to a place that I have avoided. So the question is, will you join me in going to that place? Will you support me in prayer? Will you support me in what I'm doing, in the words that God has given me? That I am someone who loves community as my Father does. I am someone who loves creating as my Father does. So will you join me in following Jesus day by day? Will you join me in what comes next?